listeners, whispers ascending. Out on the road, tales never end, through misty woods and hills they wend. Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another Tales of Adventure. I hope you'll excuse myself for being a little under the weather this week. I have COVID, sorry. So I'm going to do my best to shout into the microphone up above me. And if we have to cut things short, please forgive me. I am doing my best. But that means we have to rely so heavily on our most awesome guest who is here tonight to help me out. And the chat, I'm going to have an extra special role for you as well. So stay tuned for that one. When with much ado, welcome to our special guest this week. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do in the tabletop community and the character that you brought to share with us tonight.
So my name's Riley. Most people within the tabletop community know me as Gooey Riley. I do all of the front-end web work for Gooey Cube, the same company that Lawrence works for, and we met Chelsea through there, and it's been quite pleasant. I am bringing to the table a female human called Ellara. She is a scavenger or a salvager and has some more ancient knowledge and can speak some ancient languages. She's pretty cool and very cunning. So
Yeah, she's gonna have a lot of fun tonight, I think, as we do something a little bit different, but we'll get into that in a second. For those of you into the chat tonight, as we explore and do something a little bit different than our usual one-shot stories, I have a couple of different roles for you all that do involve rolling with the dice. So we now have a new command in the chat. You can roll different dice up to a d20. I didn't put the really big dice or complicated dice in there. Sorry, I was lazy, I admit. But you might have seen me testing that out a little earlier. If you do an exclamation point D, the number of the dice, it will roll a dice for you. I've been told it skews on the lower numbers, but tonight that might not necessarily matter so much, might even work in your favor. So let's just see how that goes tonight, and I'll explain a little bit more how that's going to work as we get going. So instead of our usual story, we're going to play a little encounter game called Friend or Foe. And I'm kind of lucky that this just happened to land on tonight because I'm sick and it means less talking for me. Yay. So, Friend or Foe is an event or encounter-driven activity based on the rules of D&D 5th edition. Sorry, it's the only edition I know. Um, in which every event that we encounter has the potential to be friendly or hostile to all of us. And as the party, or just us, journeys towards our set destination, which today is going to be through the drowned forest, we will have events be triggered. And we're going to use our regional rollable table to help figure that out. Now, the DMG recommends incorporating no more than 5 to 6 medium or hard encounters per adventuring day. So we would recommend using a D8 event table. You can always adjust that depending on your party. We say do a D8 because foes are probably medium to hard and friends are probably easy to medium. So if you end up rolling a few extra encounters, it probably works out to being an adventuring day ish. That way, it's probably fair for your party. Uh, and then for each event, you got to make sure you have a corresponding list of friends and foes. That way, no matter which way the party makes it go, you've got everything worked out for yourself. And of course, the choices the party is making throughout that journey will determine if the events are friendly or hostile. It's not up to the game master. I'm not making the choices today. It's going to be all up to Riley. So we're going to see how this goes. I don't even know what's going to happen yet. I just know what location. I didn't even pick the location. That's the really fun part. I didn't really make any of these choices. I just made a table. So
Mhm.
it's going to be fun. um,
We'll see what
we'll
happens.
see what happens. Yeah. So from there, the disposition and will determine behavior throughout the adventure, including combat, traps, puzzles, and even other events. I kept it simple because we're not going through a whole campaign here. So there's some more extra details than maybe you would need in a campaign, but we're just going to kind of see how this goes. Now, for friends in the chat, this is your job, okay? During certain events and encounters, there might be a moment where I'll say, okay, if you want to help the party out, this is your chance to roll a d20. So if you want to be a helper at any time in a chat, you can roll to aid the adventure. You can help Ellara out and then roll a d20. The results might provide a tool or useful magic item for that player to use throughout the day. Or if you're someone who's a little more of a chaos gremlin, you can always hinder the party member. And at any time, the chat can roll to harass the adventurer on their journey. Again, just roll the d20. And the results can provide any condition, they might impose damage, or even inflict a curse as we travel along. Again, wait for me to call it. I know we all like to be dice gremlins and just roll whenever, but wait for me to go through that and call when. If I really start to lose my voice, I might ask you to start rolling d8s for me. That way I don't have to call everything. And that will just roll on the table and let me know what's going to happen. And with that, are we ready to head off into the drowned forest?
I believe so.
Okay, I promise I won't kill you on purpose.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, ouch. It was only that once and it was on accident because I forgot what their hit points were. I still feel
Eh,
bad. It's been 2 years and I still cry about it sometimes.
that's fair.
Yeah, it's okay. It was a party of two. I probably shouldn't have sent two people into the Sunless Citadel, but choices were made. Anyways, and with that, all right. So, Elara, you are trying to make your way to the town of Saltmarsh. Tell us, why do you need to go to Saltmarsh so badly that you would risk going into the drowned forest?
I am looking for a few things, namely what happened to my daughter. I was on a long salvage mission with my previous crew, and by the time I came back, my daughter had basically disappeared, and I am unsure of what happened to her. So that is my first objective. Second objective, um, there seems to be a lot of good scrap that could be had there. I could probably make a decent bit of money if I were to head over there.
Fair
I
enough.
apologize. You're probably going to see a lot of cats wandering in and out.
Well, you know what? Who was it? I can't remember now.
Yeah, Miso interrupted Lawrence's
Miso.
stream.
Yes, Miso walked through and I was like, Void? Um, of course,
That's the void.
he called her Soup. I was like, no, no,
Yeah.
no, Miso. Must
Yeah, her
be
name's
Miso.
Miso Soup.
But she doesn't go by Soup. She goes by
As in this
Miso.
house. Yeah, we,
Anyways,
we call her Soup all the time. Actually, we say Miso Soup.
but I've only heard Miso. We're getting very distracted over here. It's my fault.
Cats have a way of doing that.
Yes. So does not having medications. All right. Well, you can certainly find lots of information down in Saltmarsh. Not only information for locating your daughter, but the tools and the monies to help you do that. But first, you must survive the drowned forest. Now, perched at the eastern edge of the Hool Marshes Western Edge. Oh, I did that last time too. I get my sides mixed up. At the western edge of the Hool Marshes is a most dangerous region. Filled with dead, rotting timbers projecting out of the mud, the drowned forest is thick with fungi, whose thick clouds of spores fill the air and blot out the sun. Once, this forest was a verdant wood. A few decades ago, the cool marshes began to encroach on this area, rotting away the trees themselves, adding to the danger. Years ago, cultists of Zugtmoy wandered into the drowned wood. In their possession was a decanter of endless water that tapped into the seas of the abyss. Shattering the vessel, the cult created an unstable portal to that awful realm. Zug Tumoy was imprisoned long ago, but these abyssal portals still remain, drawing demons into this mortal plane. Okay. Are we ready, kids?
I believe so.
Alrighty. So let's see what, if anything, you encounter first. I remember what a D8 looks like. Okay, it's that one. All right. Now, as you start to head deeper into the drowned forest, you start to see smoke rising off into the distance. Do you head in that direction?
What else is around me? Because I mean, is it like black smoke? Is it white smoke? What kind of smoke?
What's your passive perception?
20.
Okay. Um, as you're gazing intently at the smoke, you're noticing that as it's rising into the air, the base is quite dark and black, as if something is burning. And then as it dissipates, it fades into the white, fluffy clouds above you. But immediately surrounding you is just the gross, swampy mud of the drowned forest, probably residual waters leaked from the cool marshes um, to the east. I had to think about it. That's sad. Um, and then there's that kind of cloud of hovering spores and fog and these sticky, sicky trees all around you. You can't see much surrounding you other than that kind of fog. It doesn't really obscure vision, but it creates this kind of weird haze that just hovers.
Gotcha. That must be a pretty hot fire for it to be burning out here in a swamp. So let's go ahead and head over there and check it out.
Okay. As you start to get closer, you're starting to realize whatever this smoke is coming from, it's rising up out of a shrine.
Hmm. Some cult stuff. See what happens. Do I know what kind of shrine? Do I recognize it?
From the distance right now, you're still good mile away from it. All you can really conclude is that it's made out of rocks and other materials native to this region. You can't determine any etchings, carvings, or other indicators that suggest a particular deity or demon, but you can clearly see indicators of a shrine or worshiping behaviors.
Gotcha. Well, we will continue over there just to make sure everything's all right. Make sure, see if they need help gathering wood or anything.
Okay. Um, as you get closer, um, and it does take you a while to wade through all this muck and mire. This doesn't quite count as difficult terrain, but it's certainly a challenge to get through. Um, you start to observe signs of recent use. You can't immediately determine if any visitors are present there at the shrine, but certainly this is not a good place to be right now.
Hmm. I don't know, Chelsea. Seems like you're trying to push me away from this. Um, well, I mean, if they've,
Sorry.
does it seem like this shrine has been here for a while?
um, Looking around, you can tell that the materials have been here for a while, but it's difficult to determine if the shrine itself has been built recently due to the amount of fungal spores that have grown on top of it. Can I get a nature check?
Nature, sure. Let's see, that is a 21.
Okay. Um, you are aware that this particular region has a unique type of fungal spore that has spread in the days since the cultists of Zugtmoy once shambled in here, that has sort of overtaken the natural mushrooms and fungi that would have grown here because of the Hool marshes. Um, and because of this, they tend to release these clouds of spores that sort of spread over everything. This doesn't really give you enough information to know if this shrine has been built recently or a long time ago, but it does tell you that any kind of spore or dusting of particles can't be taken for granted as being a covering of old dust like in a library. It's just a natural side effect of this region.
Mhm. Gotcha. Well, I think I'm going to press on a little bit further, but kind of like stick to the shadows and the trees and just try to observe and see what I can glean from this shrine and who might be using it and burning the material. Does it smell like anything that I would recognize? Like, is it just a wood burn or?
Um, you tell me, what are you thinking and feeling and observing right now?
Well, it smells like mud and decay, certainly. So, I don't know that it would necessarily, because it starts off really dark and black and then continues up into a slightly more white smoke. That does tell me it's burning of some more alive um, elements, like a fresh tree or an alive tree, not necessarily human flesh yet.
Okay, so Alara seems to be very open minded at the moment, hasn't jumped
Yes.
straight to cultists. Um, what do you smell besides the native environments of the drowned forest?
I would imagine I'm getting some smell from the spores that are around the
Mm-hmm.
mushrooms, which tend to smell very earthy, um, basically just airborne dirt. And am I aware? Like, is this are the spores dangerous to inhale? Would I know that?
You've probably heard some rumors that suggest that if you encounter a cloud of spores, that it would not be good for you. Whether or not you've made the connection that says encountering any spores at all is good or bad or otherwise to be determined.
Gotcha. 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 Well, I am cool with continuing on and doing some stealth. Just kind of not. I don't want to become known too quickly. I want to kind of observe what they're doing and what they're up to, if it's anyone at all.
Okay. Um, at first, you assumed this shrine is uninhabited. Perhaps whoever had prayed here had left the area. But as you are scouting the region, you hear what seems to be a kind of chant, but it is a song of prayer. What do you hear?
Um, let's see. I mean, out here, it doesn't necessarily sound hostile yet. Um, Plenty of people live in the swamp, and they they don't always have to be summoning demons and everything else. They could just be, um, yeah, just a regular chant. I would say. Every time anyone mentions a chant, I always think of the chant that they were doing in Nemo, uh, just before Nemo jumped the volcano.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
That's something stuck in my head now. Um,
It's always in my head. It's always there.
that explains so much.
Hmm.
Okay. You're gonna make me make choices, aren't you? When in doubt, flip a token. Drop the token on the floor. Okay. So, as you round a corner, you are unobserved at this moment. You see a hooded figure kneeling at the shrine, and they appear to be praying. And they are the source of the music that you've heard. And you recognize the voice as being female, and the chant changes to being more lyrical, and it rises and falls similar to ocean waves. In fact, it reminds you quite a bit of tides pushing and pulling. What do you do next?
Well, that particular description helps quite a bit because that seems like something, like some demonic summonings, given the oceans of the abyss and whatnot. Um, I can't imagine that there is too much good going on, but there is still an opportunity that they know what happened to my daughter and where she has maybe gone or could have seen her pass through. So I think I will continue to observe, but maybe scooch in a little bit closer.
Um, Hearing the splash of a footfall, the figure turns towards you, and you indeed see it's a woman, and peeking out of her cloak is long auburn hair, and she seems startled, but she doesn't speak to you. In fact, her instincts seem to lean towards flight. Do you stop her?
Um, I will call out to her and just say, "Hey, wait! Don't run away. I just wanted to ask you something."
She pauses and lowers her hood, and you see that her eyes are almost sea green, and she's dressed in almost deep teal or oceanic colors. And when she speaks, it's in a language you aren't familiar with. What do you do next?
Um, think, yeah, that's tough. Part of me wants to just like whip out a piece of paper and write something down, but I would assume she probably can't understand me either. Um, yeah, it's pretty tough. I think I would just probably shrug at her and just like point to my ear and say, I don't totally understand what you're saying.
Um, she will sort of get a look of understanding and then try again in Sylvain and then Elvish.
I can speak Elvish, so that's good. Um, yeah, so what does she say in Elvish?
She will ask you, "Who are you, and what are you doing here in this sacred place?"
Uh, all my weapons are away and they have been this whole time. I just want to put that out there. But I would, kind of lower my shoulders, kind of be a little bit more relaxed, and first off, apologize for not knowing that this was a sacred ground. And I inform this woman that I am looking for my daughter, um, Amanda, and she has been missing for a few years now, and I believe had to have traveled through this swamp in order to get to the next city. And I wanted to see if anyone out here knew anything about her.
Um, the female will nod sadly. I understand what it is to lose the child amongst the byways and waterways that ebb and flow with the tides. I am Neris, and although I cannot help you find your lost Amanda, perhaps I can help guide you safely through these once woods. We come here on occasion to help tend this shrine. Although it doesn't hold the power it once did, we feel it's important to continue those connections with the sea, that perhaps it might heal this place one day. And perhaps that can help you find your Amanda.
It's certainly possible. What can I do to assist with this shrine to perhaps bring it back to its former glory?
She will note that she has been trying to burn the sacred kelp here, but that she hasn't been able to. She lost her scroll that helps with fire casting, and she hasn't been able to light the fire very well. She'll suggest to you that she's a druid, but she mentions a circle of learning that you haven't heard before, a circle of tides. She suggests that her circle doesn't use spells that aren't useful to the seas, and so she sometimes needs help casting different types of spells, like those that incorporate fire damage.
That would
She
make
asks
sense.
if you can help.
Um, I don't know any fire spells, but I am pretty good with survival. I would imagine it does need to be a magical fire, though.
She thinks about this and says, "I don't know, actually. I've never learned to use splendor and tint, but you see, we don't really use those at the bottom of the sea."
And I agree with her. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. You know, it's difficult to light fire in the ocean. Um, well, perhaps I can see if I can assist.
She shows you the stone where she tried to make a bed of kelp, and you do see that there seems to be some charring and burning, perhaps what caused the black smoke, but it didn't really light a flame like you would have expected on a sacred altar.
Yeah, because we need some bonfire level stuff to work on this. So let's see. I should have. Yeah, I do have my torch and I have my tinderbox, so we can certainly give it a shot. Do you need any checks for that?
Roll for survival.
manual one. That is a 12. That is terrible considering I have a +6.
That's okay. It's certainly enough to get a fire going. What do you do next?
With the fire going, I grab some reeds that are around and I forgot her name. I apologize. And I show her how to kindle a flame and use it, use like a bellow to blow on the lower half of the fire to keep it alight and um, kind of get it to grow bigger.
Okay. And with her guidance, um, she helps you bring the flame over to the altar. And you see that the kelp does catch flame and starts to grow. Once again, she sings the chant that um, worships the gods of the ocean. And as it finishes, you start to feel something magical come over the area, and an aura sort of washes over you. And you realize you have resistance to poison damage for the next 24 hours.
Sweet. Now I can drink all the water I want.
Resistance, not immunity.
That's good enough. 50-50 chance. I'll take it.
Uh, Neris will thank you for the help, saying, if there's anything more I can do, including traveling with you to get you through the drowned forest, I would very much like to do whatever I can to assist, for you have done a great service to us and our people.
I say I'd love to learn more about your people, and I am on a journey. So if you are willing to join me, I will take you with me.
And with that, um, she will gladly go with you for as far as you would like her to come along. Alrighty. And she may not tell you everything you might want to know about her culture and people, but she is willing to tell you a few things if you want to ask her some questions while we travel.
Gotcha. So like the origins of her people, where they came from, um, like how they ended up out here, and do they live out here? I guess is my first question.
Well, we should probably start with who are her people?
Sure.
Um, since you've earned her trust, she would tell you that she is a Selkie, which is why when she first spoke to you, you didn't understand her language, because she was speaking Silcanen, a language that is only spoken amongst other Selks. Um, it's similar to Sylvain, so sometimes it's picked up a little bit slang like here and there by the fair folk, but it is unique to their culture. But she can learn other languages quite easily, which is why she was able to speak Elvish with you.
Gotcha. That makes sense to me.
Mhm.
How many of her people are there?
She looks at you sadly. Not as many as there once was, only a couple villages here and there. Folks like to hunt us for our pelts, thinking them magical. I don't think they realize what it is they truly kill.
Your pelts is in like they skin you?
Don't you know much about the Selkie people?
Um, I do, but no. Um, I don't know quite as much as I feel like I should. I've been on multiple salvage missions with my crew, and I don't really get a lot of opportunity to go out.
She nods and says, well, you see, a Selkie is a bit like a changeling or a shapeshifter. We transform, but only into our seal shapes. Our seal pelts are meant to hold sacred powers. Some folks hunt us for good luck, others for whatever magical abilities our pelts are said to contain. Just like the whale hunters of old, they try to hunt us down and take our skins. I don't think they really understand what they're slaying or taking from the world. They don't see the girl, they only see the seal they're hunting.
That makes sense, and that is a terrible crime. I assume no political authority are doing anything about it or care to do anything about it.
I think the king has some other things to be worried about, given what the hold of the sea princes has been up to these last few decades.
I have heard a little bit about that, but I won't make you go into detail there.
Yes.
About what time is it? Like in game, not.
Um, she looks up to the sky, but she kind of frowns at the sun like she doesn't really know what to do about it. If you were to look up, you would notice that it's getting on close to noon.
Noon. Okay, perfect. I tell her we have about half a day's travel left, and a good ways left to go. Let's see, we're heading to about how far out is the city we're headed?
Um, Saltmarsh is actually about 2 days travel from here, but we're just gonna skip that part.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
We're just sprinting the whole
we're
time.
sprinting. Yes, once we get out of the drowned woods, we're just gonna pretend the whole marshes aren't there. We're just gonna go for it.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Um, Suddenly, you come across a clearing. This is most unusual in the drowned forest. And in the center, you see a pile of old rusty tools sitting just in the middle of the clearing. What kind of tools do you observe sitting there?
Let's see. We got a pickaxe. We got a saw. There's it's actually a two-person saw, and we have a shovel. And let's see. What am I trying to think of? I have it in my head. I can see it. What is it called? We'll just say a regular axe for now. But
Okay,
the wood handles on all of them are, I assume, degrading a little bit. Pretty old.
yeah. Um, Anything that would tempt you to enter the clearing?
I mean, I love tools, but um, I do see that there are some interesting tools that could be helpful when it comes to salvaging,
Mhm.
um, taking stuff apart. So I will tell my newfound Selkie friend to hang out back here, just in case it's a trap, and I will scooch forward, slowly, kind of checking my surroundings to before I get too close to the tools and see what's available and see if there's anybody's name written on it. First of all,
Okay. As you begin to get closer, stepping into this clearing, you observe um, a half-lane male running across the clearing, going, "No, no, 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 no! Wait, 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 wait! Those are mine! Don't touch these!"
and I talk to him and I'm like, okay, no worries. Where did you like? Why are they just out here in the open instead of in like a tool shed or something?
Okay, wait. See, I got lost, and then, well, the horse ran off, and then without a horse, you can't move your tools around. And well, then the horse got lost, and then I couldn't just leave the tools here. They're very important tools. Okay, see, I'm a tinkerer and I need my tools, okay? These are important. They're mine. Don't touch them.
I confide in him that I'm a tinkerer as well. I'm a salvager by trade. I make a lot of money doing that, and I ask if there's any way that I can assist and try to help him find his horse, or see if he wants to load up some tools on me, and we can just hoof it.
He looks at you thoughtfully and says, Not that. Sorry. That was just bad timing.
Hmm.
Excuse me. He says this instead. Well, see, the horse ain't mine. Exactly. So,
Borrowed, no problem.
I'm not entirely buggered that it's gone, but I do kind of feel bad. But I do really need
Do
these
you,
tools.
you do want to return the horse to its original owner
Well,
since it's rented,
okay, see, rented's a strong word.
uh, tactically acquired.
Oh, see, that's better. I like that one. I'm gonna use that in the
Yeah,
future.
yeah. Well, I would say I will take. Can you spell the Selkie's name? I'm sorry. I'm struggling with the name.
Yeah, no worries. If you're watching on the stream, I actually made little name cards for all of us. But it's Nerys.
There
Neris.
we go. There it is. I see it. Okay, Neris. Neris and I will go and try to track down this horse. If you want to stay here and guard your uh, tools, are your tools borrowed too?
Well, I mean, is it really borrowed if they were just kind of lying there?
Well, that's all they were doing here. But
Right,
we
but see, they're
will.
my tools.
They are now. We will go and find, because I don't see any names on it or anything, so I think you're okay. We will go and find this horse and help you try to return your tools and your horse to their rightful owners.
Right, me, because they're my tools.
Right.
Right.
Sure. Anyway, which way did the horse go?
Now, see, that's a really good question, isn't it? Because if I knew that, I'd have a horse.
I suppose. Can I do like a check to see if I can see any hoof prints?
Yeah, for tracking, let's do a survival check.
Hopefully it rolls better this time. Yeah, 25.
Okay. On the southern side of the clearing, you can clearly see the hoofprints of a fleeing horse dug deep into the mud, and they disappear a fair way off into the distance, as if that horse was booking it out of here.
Gotcha. You're not gonna never ending story me on this, are you? Not gonna have to drag a horse out of the
No.
mud pile. Man, because how is he gonna return a dead horse? That's tough. All right, we will track those hoof prints for a little while.
Okay. About 2 miles in, you come across a horse very clearly trapped in a humanoid made trap of some design. Um, it's a snare that has entangled its legs and taken that horse down.
Um, do I see any other traps around? Because if there's one, there's usually more.
There is one other, but it has already been triggered, perhaps by the horse's passing.
Gotcha. So the horse triggered one and missed another.
Hmm.
Okay. We will slowly walk up to the horse. Can we tell if it's in any pain or anything like that, or if it's doing all right?
You can tell from its motions and its breathing that it's quite fearful, but it does not appear to be injured.
Gotcha. I will scooch up next to the horse and crouch down slightly and try to calm it down as I observe the trap and how to disarm and free the horse.
Okay. Um, this trap is very entangled due to the horse struggling. You will need to cut the ropes to free the animal.
Gotcha. I do have an extra couple daggers, so that works out well. I tell I tell Neris to keep an eye out and just look for anyone approaching us while I work on freeing this animal.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and roll like it's an attack roll.
Four, okay. 17.
Okay, perfect.
If not for horses, what else would this trap be for?
I mean, all kinds of spooky things are out here in the drowned forest.
Hmm.
They gotta eat
Me-
stuff too.
Yeah, that's true. I asked Neris if she's seen a trap like this before.
She examines the homemade ropes and then nods, saying this looks like something that would have been created by the bullywugs that are native to the area.
The bullywugs, huh? Gotcha.
Yup.
Well, I assume I'm making decent progress on freeing the horse.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And when you're ready, you can go ahead and get the animal up and moving back to the clearing.
Gotcha. I ask Neris to share a little bit more about the bullywugs, like what she knows while I help the horse to its feet and calm it down. And I will use some of the rope that was entangling the horse to create a lead for it, so that way it's a little bit easier to manage and have it follow.
Yes. Um, she will say, I don't know much, but I do know that they have been harassing the lizard folk who have settled in the Hool marshes. That their king is, well, I think you would call him a bit lazy, sort of gluttonous, but that he does love a good show of strength and barbarity. They can be a bit violent, but simple headed, easy to defeat, not very clever, but they think themselves so, and sometimes that can be used to your advantage.
This is for the bullywugs.
Yes.
Gotcha. Um, as we're leading the horse back, I kind of inquire a little bit further about the lizard folk and what the bullywugs have against Mark Zuckerberg.
What don't they have against Mark Zuckerberg? Just kidding. Uh, nobody ban me. Um, so she will share that she's heard the lizard folk have run from some terrible danger that destroyed their homeland, and and now they've settled there in the whole marshes. She only has heard whispers about what that thing could possibly be, but she fears it's risen from the depths of the ocean. That perhaps even it's akin of the abyss. And if that's true, then truly everyone is in trouble. But these are just rumors and whispers.
Hmm.
The lizard folk seem generally to be a peaceful people, more likely to move on from an attack and settle somewhere else. But one can only be pushed so far, and she's sensing that perhaps they're prepared to fight, that the time is coming, and that they're done running and they're ready to settle down. She'll also mention that this particular group of lizard folk are very intelligent, academic leaning, and spellcasters. They're known for gathering a rather large library, and that their queen is quite wise and a good ally to have if you can earn her favor.
Gotcha. Well, we will definitely try to seek counsel with the queen. Uh, Perhaps she can help us find Amanda. Um, how much further do we have until we're at the place with this horse? And also, what color is the horse? It's very important.
What color is the horse?
I was thinking probably like a blood chestnut,
Hmm,
either a blood chestnut or a gray.
good choice. And you have arrived at the clearing.
Gotcha. Is the halfling still here?
Yes, he is. And he greets the horse fondly and with that starts to pack up his tools. Those in the chat, this is your chance to either help or hinder by rolling that d20. Just let us know why you are rolling and we'll see which one happens. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to do with this halfling? Otherwise, he is going to move on his way.
Um, I stop him briefly. I was like, "Well, how do I know you're going to return this majestic steed to its original owner?"
Um, the halfling was kind of look at you, maybe a bit sideways, saying, "Would you shake on it?
Um, no,
Would you
I
shake
don't
on
think
it
so.
if you could see both my hands?"
It's not. I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about you having a weapon or anything. I just need to know that you're
Oh
going to
no, see, some
properly
people
return
cross
this
their
horse.
fingers behind their backs. That's sneaky.
It is sneaky, but I just need to know that this horse is going to get back to where it needs to go. But
Hmm.
also, what were you doing all the way out here with all these tools and someone else's horse?
Oh, we're going to Sultan. It's that way. Or that way. Uncertain now. We'll figure it out. We'll be fine.
Do you need a compass?
Why, you got them one of them compasses?
No, but I can point you in the right direction for a fee.
What kind of fee?
I don't know. I do it for like a nickel. Or I guess that would be one sylve.
What's a nickel?
Wouldn't you like to know, Pipsqueak?
Wow, this one's rude. You single?
Could be. Might not be.
Hmm.
What's it to you?
Depends. What's a nickel?
A nickel is more expensive to manufacture than it's worth. It's just a little silver piece, but generally it's copper underneath with silver on top.
Well, that's pointless.
agree. Would you like to know which direction to go or not?
Yes, which way is Sultan?
Pull out the compass and I look at it, give it a little shake, and then I point him in the correct direction.
Well, thank you, friend. And since you told me about them dang nickels, stupid country, silver and copper all together, what idiot
Mm,
invented that? He will hand you a pack that has a healer's kit inside of it, and in case you needed an extra set of Tinker's tools. And then he's off.
perfect. I wave him goodbye and a single tear drips down my face that he didn't give me the horse.
He was never going to part with that.
No, I'm sure he wouldn't. I
Yeah.
was tempted just to take the horse and not return it, but
There would have been consequences.
I'm sure.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you, chat, for being helpful. I've got some extra tools here to survive. Um, if you'd like, we can do one more event or we can wrap it up here. It's up to you.
Up to chat or up to me?
Up to you.
Oh, sure. If you're feeling up for it, we can do another one.
Okay.
So far, I've been very neutral good,
All right. This is a
but
perfect one to end on. So we'll do this one. All right. It is now approaching closer to the end of the day. You're starting to get tired, and even Neris is starting to feel just a wee bit restless when you suddenly encounter about a 20-foot large and quite deep pool, which seems to be filled with crystal clear sea water. You even see sea creatures swimming around down there, and they appear to be fine.
I asked Neris, are any of these your friends? Do you recognize any of these creatures?
She just kind of frowns at it as if she's never seen this before, but she can certainly name every single creature in that pool if you would like her to.
That's okay. I do ask if any of them are edible.
She looks at you quite a bit shocked, um, but then says, I suppose you land humanoids do eat that sort of thing, but I wouldn't know about that.
Mm. It is just getting towards the end of the day, and generally you want to eat dinner, but we'll see. Um, let's see. Yeah, let's just kind of skirt around it. I do want to take a small sample of the water and just like bottle it up, keep it with me.
As you move to touch the water, you start to sense an aura of magic either surrounding it or coming off the water itself.
Mm. Well, does the water pass a vibe check? Does it feel like good magic, bad magic? Because I mean, it's crystal clear water with deep sea creatures in it in the middle of a swamp, so it's probably bad. There's probably a devious cuttlefish in there or something.
I said the water was deep and had sea creatures in it.
Yeah.
Hmm. I did not say that they were deep sea creatures.
Oh,
Ooh, important
that does change
designation.
things.
But you tell me, is it
Um,
good vibes or bad vibes?
I'm generally a fan of the ocean. It doesn't bother me, so I'd say it's probably good vibes.
Okay, then roll for Arcana.
Boop. 9. Hey, I'm not. It's. I only got a +3 to that, so
It's magic vibes, all right. You're vibing all the
it's.
magics.
Yeah. I asked Neris. I'm like, are you concerned about this at all? Does this ring any bells? Because it certainly seems like something your people would be familiar with.
Nat 20. um, she gets very close to the water, hovers her hand on top of it, and then kind of looks up to you and smiles, saying, I have not encountered one of these in a very, very long time. In fact, I did not think they still exist here on Earth. But yes, this is good magic. It will take you exactly where you need to go.
I ask if we just cannonball in there or how this works.
She laughs and says, generally, you step. And she walks right into the pool. Although it looks deep, she walks right in as if it's only a foot, maybe two of water, and then vanishes. And after she does, you notice the scene in the pool changes. It's no longer the ocean that perhaps Neris called home, but it looks more like tide pools. Perhaps something you might encounter not too far outside of Saltmarsh.
Gotcha. So it takes you to where you want to go,
Mm-hmm.
where you desire to go. Well, I will gently step out onto the um, onto the pool. Jeez Louise. Stinking brain. And just kind of like shimmy out there a little nervous, like kind of like you're checking for a trap door and stuff, but I will eventually make my way out.
Okay. And as you do, though you feel the water around you, you don't get wet. Instead, you feel sort of this pull, a tug deep inside your body, and then a flash of white light, and then you appear just outside the gates of the town of Saltmarsh, as if you had always been there. It's still sunset, and the guards are preparing to wrap things up and close the gates for the evening.
Well, that's perfect. And I'll just kind of wander up and wave and say, hang on a second. I got to get in there.
They quickly usher you in. Come on, come on, let's go already. Don't you know we've got to get things going? And then you have arrived at your destination.
Perfect.
I'm sorry.
You're okay. Seems like a good time to pause.
All right, we did it. And nobody died.
Nobody died, which is always a good thing.
Yes, for the most part. Unless it's the bad guys. Usually we want them to die.
Generally, yeah.
Sorry.
You're all right.
So, yeah. Nice job,
Well,
team.
very good. That was a lot of fun. Thank you, Chelsea.
Of course, I am glad that you had fun. I had a lot of fun too.
Sorry to have made you talk so much. I was just trying to get some lore stuff going.
No, that's okay. You're fine. I normally really like lore. Nurse is kind of interesting because she was actually invented specifically for Ghosts of Saltmarsh. And even though
Hmm.
during that campaign we didn't spend a whole lot of time digging into her lore, she has like this entire culture that I built up and created for her. Um,
Hmm.
Even her name is like a play on how that culture works. So I keep kind of like tossing her into the games to see if anyone will like pick up on things. So
I tried to talk to her a little bit, but I also didn't want to ask too many questions for your voice.
yeah, it's okay. Um, she can be
There's
tricky
always next time.
because truthfully, Selkies don't reveal stuff about their world and culture unless they really trust you. So I don't know how much she really would have gotten into things, but it never hurts to ask. So,
Yeah,
mm,
polite conversation is just that.
exactly. All right. Well, this was a fun little experiment into the event, the encounter game that I kind of created here. So, if it's something that you all want to try, I hope that you will throw together one of your own and let your players decide your fate for a night. Because that was kind of fun to not know what was happening and have to improv everything that happened. So that was kind of cool. Um, Thank you, Riley, for playing along with me. Before we go, is there anything you want to share that's coming up for you and the gooey folks in the tabletop community in the coming weeks and months?
We are working on a lot of really cool stuff, but right now we are in ultra Gen Con prep mode. Um, if you follow us on Facebook and whatnot, you probably saw Mandy standing next to the Sky Cube.
Mm-hmm.
That thing is massive. Uh, my name is on, well, everyone in the GUI community who helped with the Sky Cube. Like if you donated on our Kickstarter or you work for us or you're in our Discord and you've earned the title of GUI blank, GUI whoever, then your name's probably on there. If you happen to see me at Gen Con, you're welcome to come up and say howdy and let me know what you thought of my name underneath the cube if you can see it. Um, it's a techie play on words, but it's also like it's just kind of dorky. But let's see, as far as we're working on a lot of stuff, this is mostly applicable to Andrew Grover because he's the one that asks for it. But we are working on some more dashboard updates and um, doing some improvements generally to the user experience on our website. But at the very moment, we are working with the local YMCA to build a brand new website on a new framework for them, which should hopefully give our agency and GUI Cube a pretty healthy boost to some funds, and we'll be able to make some really cool stuff for y'all. Um, but otherwise, just keep your eyes out for emails and stuff from us, and we'll be sending out. We just sent out digitals for something. We'll be sending out some more digitals here soon. So pretty exciting.
Awesome. Um, so yeah, speaking of Gen Con, if you all want to come say hi to me, you're more than welcome to do that too. I'll be hiding in the corner painting, probably with this crazy person. So we
Yep.
would love for you to come say hi to us nerds in the corner with our typey. So
Yeah. I'll be conducting the checkout booth or the checkout portion of the booth. Um, So we have a new system there, and another cool thing that we are offering at the booth this year is if you show up and you would like to have something like you would like to have your product shipped, we will be doing shipping right then and there. Um, so you buy your stuff, or like if you have a plushie or something you want us to ship with your product, we can just box it up and ship it out for you, which will be really cool, and that'll be a part of the checkout process.
indeed. Alrighty. Well, the time has come to say goodnight for at least a little while. Um, Assuming I'm still alive by next week. The COVID hasn't killed me yet. We'll probably do a low key something like how to survive Gen Con and just chat for a little bit. Um,
We are working on trying to get a little con crud kit together so that it's just like some vitamins and supplements and stuff that you can take to help you feel a little better, like emergency and whatnot. So we are working on that. Hopefully, we'll have that. Probably not, but
which will
it's
not
an
at
idea.
all, because it's Gooey Cube, it will not at all be ready for me to talk about it on the stream. Let's just be honest. And for those of you
Yeah.
who know anything about Gooey Cube, you'll understand why that's a joke. If you don't, I'm sorry, that was rude of me. Um,
If you don't, just
you
ask.
don't
Well,
know, then
I'm
you
happy
don't
to tell
know,
you.
and be thankful that you don't know. Um,
We do our best.
we try. We don't, but we do still try sometimes. Maybe tomorrow, but not today.
We'll see. But it was fun, Chelsea. Thank you very much, and I hope you and your stream have a good rest of the night.
Thank you. And for everyone who's not as sick as me, stay well, please, and take all of your vitamin C because the COVID is going around California, and you know that means the rest of you guys are going to get it. So be prepared. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.